Hey everyone, this is the final video in my mini series on burnout. Now, some of the videos have been specific for teachers. This video, I think, can be applied to almost anybody who works in a job that you have to take home with you. So, what we're going to be looking at today is what I'm calling you time. And I'm going to try to give you some advice on you time. One thing I'm conscious of is I don't want to sound preachy and I don't want to sound like I've got all the answers. However, this is stuff that I think is important for any teacher, in fact, any adult who is in full time employment, especially if you've got the kind of job like teaching that you have to take home with you. So, when we get overworked, the first thing to go is our hobbies. You've got to make sure that you don't allow your work to push out your hobbies. Hobbies are our way of recharging, relaxing, and enjoying. We get a hit of serotonin in our brains when we do something we enjoy. So, take today, for example. So, today I got up, I made a couple of videos, and then I played some video games, went out to a kickboxing session, came home, ate dinner, and came back to making videos. That's how my Sunday has looked. I actually have some lessons in a few hours as well, but I've planned my day out so that I get some enjoyment in there. I love playing video games and I love reading. And I work a crazy number of hours here in Japan. Sometimes I work 45 to 50 teaching hours a week, and yet I still find time to read. I still find time to play some video games, and I still find time to work out. So you've got to make sure that you find some time for the things that you enjoy. The next thing that goes is the time spent with your kids and your partner. Now, I'm quite lucky. I have neither of these things. So my time management is a lot easier because I just have to worry about my own. However, if you have kids, if you have a partner, when you're burnt out, when you're overworked, it's them that loses your attention. So if, for example, you spend the whole night grading, you don't get to spend any time with your kids, you don't get to spend any time with your partner. What I would recommend in this case is finding time where you say, okay, I'm going to spend an hour doing this, and then I'm going to sit and watch a movie with my kids. Or I'm going to spend an hour doing this, and then I'm going to go for a walk in the park with my significant other and my dog. Because they will start to feel isolated from you, and your work is not worth that. Don't forget that one of the most powerful things that was ever said to me is your work, your employer would replace you in a second. Your family couldn't replace you if you weren't there. That was hugely powerful to me. Prioritize your family. Don't prioritize your work. Now, I've dated teachers in the past. My longest relationship was with another teacher, and we banned shop talk at the dinner table. It's too easy when you both do the same job to sit there and talk about that job, especially if you work together. But even if you work in separate places but in the same industry, it's too easy to fall into that trap. You already spend, let's say, 40 hours a week at work. You already have to do some things when you get home. So make certain things sacrosanct. Work does not get into your eating time. You sit at the table and you say, there is no shop talk here. Another thing that I find hugely important, and I don't drive, but I know a lot of you watching this video probably do. When you're in the car, no phones. If it's you and your partner, or if it's you and your partner and your kids, no phones. That is quality time that you can spend together just talking. But make sure it's not shop talk. Make sure if it's you and your partner, you're not talking about work. Talk about something else. Talk about something enjoyable. And one thing that I've found really helps me, I have got a timetable that is color coordinated. Green is regular lessons, same time every week. Yellow, that's either a lesson that's been rescheduled, or it's a lesson that is infrequent. So I have some students that I don't see every week. I see when they're free. Orange is meetings. That can be any kind of meeting that's not related to my work. And then red is do not schedule something in this time. Now, let me give you a good example of this. When I was back in Manchester, I went to a mental health for men group called, I don't know if you can see that there, Andy's Man Club. And that was from 7 till 9 every Monday evening. Up to 6 o'clock, I taught. From 6 o'clock onwards, my calendar has a huge red block. I also, now that I'm here in Japan, I have a red block Friday night. 6 p.m., after 6 p.m., absolutely nothing. All Saturday, red block. Sunday up to 10 p.m. when I start my classes. However, it's Sunday now, and I'm making this video. The thing is here that I enjoy making these videos. I don't feel like it's work. And I have the flexibility if I decide I'm tired to not make them. Okay, so you can put red blocks in there, and if there's something that you enjoy doing, then by all means do it. But having time that you have blocked off where you just say, I am not working from this time to this time, and sticking to it gives you a much more healthy outlook on your work-life balance. One thing that I've noticed with a lot of people, and I've been guilty of this in the past, is that work lives rent-free in their heads. You're constantly thinking about work, even when you're not there. Your employers pay you to work, and you work those hours and you're paid for that. But when you're outside of work, okay, granted, you might have to do a little bit of stuff that is technically unpaid, grading papers or planning lessons, for example. But when you are sitting on the sofa thinking about work instead of watching a movie with your partner, when you are, I used to be terrible for thinking about work while I was out walking the dog. Walking my dog is one of my most pleasurable experiences, and I would spoil it by thinking about work. So when you feel work sneaking into your mind, bat it away and say, not now. This is me time. And whatever that me time involves, a hobby, spending time with your kids, your partner, your dog, okay, going to a club, a group that you enjoy. But we live in a society now where people's work-life balance is all wrong. And I don't think that prioritizing myself and giving myself some time for hobbies, giving myself time to go out and socialize and just be free of work, I don't think that makes me any less effective at my job. In fact, I think it makes me more effective at my job. By prioritizing yourself, by giving yourself time to recharge and refresh, you actually become better at your job. I hope this series has been enjoyable, informative for you. I hope that you've taken something from it. I'm just one guy making a video. I don't have all the answers. When I asked in the Facebook groups about problems that teachers have, I got a lot of stuff that I can't solve, they can't solve. Okay, you cannot solve the pay issue. Your work will pay you what they'll pay you. You can't solve the fact that your manager is an over promoted idiot who couldn't run a bath, let alone a company or a department or a team. You can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about demanding parents. All you can do is influence what is within your power. The kids or students in front of you in your class, you can influence those. You can give them the best of yourself. But when you step away from work, you can influence your own time. You can be happier and prioritize a better work-life balance. That's it. I hope you'll join me again in the future for another video on my channel. And in the meantime, take care.